house? Barbados Labour Party, are you on board? St. James South, are you in the house? Let's get ready and let's go. Woo! I love when the Barbados Labour Party gets together. I love the energy in this room because we are focused, we are ready, and we are ready to get to work on behalf of Barbados and to make Barbados work again for everybody. Ready for work. When you are ready for work, you have to be able to give good representation to people. And this evening, I am so pleased to be able to speak about Cynthia Ford, who is an example of what a good representative is all about. Cynthia is one of the most sincere people you could meet. When you hear Cynthia's mouth, you hear Cynthia's heart. Cynthia loves people. Cynthia is caring and kind, but Cynthia is forceful. Let me tell you, in the civil service, they don't play when Cynthia calls to get something for her constituents because they know Cynthia is not going to stop until she gets what she needs for the good people of St. Thomas, and that is why they must support her. She's not only a great representative to the people of St. Thomas, she is also a great mentor to those of us who are new to government and who are new to politics. Any one of the candidates can tell you that Cynthia is a person you can pick up the phone and call if you don't know what to do, or if you need advice, or if you need support. I know I only have to pick up a phone and immediately she can tell me who to contact. She can tell me what to do, how to approach it, and she will always, always return that call. And with Cynthia, you can always rely on her to put her people first and put Barbados first. And that is what I love about Cynthia Ford. So nothing makes Cynthia more angry and more mad than what has occurred here in Barbados and to see the suffering that has taken place among Barbadians. It makes me mad as well because Barbadian lives matter. We only have one life, and no government has the right to so mismanage our affairs that you destroy the quality of our life, you make it difficult for us to raise our children, you make it difficult for us to hold on to our jobs, you make it difficult for us to honor our bills, and you make it difficult for us to live out our retirement in peace and prosperity. It is wrong. And that makes me mad, and it makes Cynthia Ford mad. What are the things that they have done? Our people are so oppressed, and in St. James South, let me tell you, like the rest of Barbados, they are suffering because they have been overtaxed. This government has taxed their allowances. They tax the VAT, they raise the VAT, they raise the road tax, the property tax, the fuel surcharges. But you know what else is a great hardship to the people in St. James South? They raise professional fees. If you are a physiotherapist, if you are an engineer, if you're an electrician, if you have a skill that you have to be licensed, they have raised your charges, so it makes it difficult for people to make a living. They raise shop licenses, the consolidation tax, the tax on pensions, and now they have raised the NSRL, and that has been the biggest insult of all. When I listened to what Mia was sharing in Parliament concerning the report from the Public Accounts Committee, I could not wait to find it. And when eventually somebody WhatsApped it to me, I started to read, and my heart started to bleed. Because here was terrible mismanagement of our funds, our resources. Meanwhile, they're putting 10% on everything I have to buy so they can get more money to waste it. And that made me angry. when Mia said that we will take off the NSRL, people were saying, oh, that's just a gimmick. She's just doing that to gain political points. She wants to use that to win an election. Well, I'm here to tell you that the removal of the NSRL makes good sense, and I want to explain why. If you only have $20 and you're on a limited income and you purchase 3 cartons of milk with your $20 every month to take care of your children's needs for milk, and the NSRL takes milk up to $26, you still only have $20, right? Okay. So what are you going to do? You're going to buy 2 cartons of milk instead of 3, correct? So instead of spending $20, now you're going to spend $14, correct? So immediately, the impact is going to be felt in your home. Your children will have less milk. But the shopkeeper will also suffer because he's accustomed to you spending $20 with him. He now can only get 14. So if that happens all across his goods, what will happen? He has got to send home somebody because he cannot afford to keep his staff because his income too has dropped. So therefore, people go home, cannot take care of their families because the places where they work cannot afford to keep them. That's an impact of the NSRL. But it doesn't stop there. It affects government revenue. Because government would normally be looking forward to tax on $20. They now only get tax on 14. So it does not make good economic sense. What they have done is they have choked the economy. And that is why Mia Amor Motley has purpose and promised that one of the first things that will be removed when we get to office will be the removal of that NSRL. People have been losing because of it. Families can no longer spend like they used to spend. Ladies, you don't find that you have to be scratching for every penny? You don't find that you have to tell your children no more often than you used to? You don't find yourself maxing out your credit cards? You don't find yourself anxious in the supermarket line when you're going up. You hope you have enough money. You hope enough on the card. You don't be putting in and taking out and putting in and taking out and so on and so forth. Telling the girls, stop, let me see how much it is. Huh? You don't be putting off things. And pray God you don't get a flat tire. Because if you get a flat tire at all, you're gone. This is what has been happening to people in Barbados. Families are under tremendous pressure and they're hanging on by a thread. By a thread. So when Cynthia gets mad about these things, it is with good cause. So Cynthia don't pull any punches, you know. When Cynthia is in Parliament, I love to listen to the parliamentary debates. I try not to miss them because I want to learn how you do that level of debating to represent the interests of people. And Cynthia don't play around. When they come round, you can hear Cynthia's mouth all through the presentation, telling them what they're doing wrong, what they're saying wrong. She does not pull any punches. It doesn't matter who it is either. I've heard her go after Lowe. I've heard her go after Boyce. I've heard her go after Lashley. And she's gone after my boy Innes. She don't miss. And Innes needs to get a whipping when necessary. Because this man is full of a lot of talk and back chat. He uses talk to distract people from the fact that he does not perform. And that as a minister, he has been a miserable failure. He has been a burden on the backs of the people of St. James South, and I intend to relieve them of it. Some people bought into his rhetoric, but St. James South started to smell a rat. On brass tacks, I'll never forget this. There was a moderator who was on, and this moderator was saying how much they admire and like him, and he's one of the go-getter ministers and so on. And the caller asked her, what has he done? So she stuttered. And the man said again, what has he done? She started talking about all the things he talks about. He said, no. What has he done? And when she scrambled around in her head to figure out what he had done, the only thing she could come up with was that he had computerized the records at the Ministry of Commerce. I wanted to laugh. $30 million he gets every year, and all he could get done was computerizing records at the Ministry of Commerce when there was so much other work to do. And you can only conclude by looking at his record that this man is utterly useless when it comes to advancing the interests of Barbados and utterly useless when it comes to rescuing the country. Let's look at the Ministry of Health. He talked his way through the Ministry of Health. That's when he first sent the signal to Barbados, I am here and I'm big and I'm bad. But when he left the Ministry of Health, here's what he had done. Change the electricals, build a portico at Queen Elizabeth Hospital, and establish 2 hostesses to greet people when they come in through the door. That was the sum total of it. The sum total of it. But then he left a trail of destruction. He boasted in front of his colleagues that he was going to be able to cut $25 million from his budget by altering the drug program. And he set about in a slash and burn methodology, took off medications, brought on new medications that were less effective. Some of those medications actually made people ill. Some of those medications did not work. And then he took from off of the formulary the medications that really work for Barbadians. Now, when he took them from the formulary, it meant that those medications would attract VAT and attract duties at the port. So an item that government paid $25 for, the public would now have to pay $65 for it. That was what was wicked about that drug reform program. Because if there had been any care about the health of Barbadians, the government could have continued to let it come in free of duty and let the people pay the $25. They would still be able to live. But instead, you have senior citizens who have to decide between food and medication. You have people who are dividing their medication. There are people who are making themselves ill simply because they cannot afford the medication, thanks to Don Villinis. So he's been utterly useless in advancing health care in this country. But as Minister of International Business, the record is even more dismal. He has not only presided over the decline of the industry, it is now in stagnation. An industry that brought in over $400 million to the Barbados economy every year dwindled all the way down to under $100 million a year. So when the country needed him most to produce, so that foreign exchange would be there and we wouldn't have the shortages that we are experiencing, we would not be at 4 weeks of foreign reserves. Had he performed in his ministry, he could have made a real difference to Barbadians' lives. But he did not, because he is all about talk, no action. So he has been utterly useless in saving this vital industry or in helping to rescue Barbados from the problems it is in. And if he cannot run the Ministry of Commerce, he certainly can't run any of the other ministries. He's been bad-mouthing and bad-talking for years. But my greatest problem with him is when it comes to my babies, small business. I love small business with all of my heart because small business gives people the opportunity to live out their dreams and their hopes. It gives people a chance to participate in wealth. It gives people a chance to feel that they're contributing to the well-being of their country. It gives people an opportunity to make a mark on the international stage. And this minister has neglected small business big time, big time. But I'm not surprised, because his prime minister said that the promises that they put in a manifesto are only words of intent. They are not a contract. So when they made a set of promises to the small business sector, and I have them here, they promised that the new Democratic Labour Party administration will restructure the Smart Energy Fund. Not done. Will establish a $10 million loan guarantee scheme. Not done. Establish a $10 million loan guarantee scheme. Not done. Facilitate and encourage small businesses. Not done. Establish showrooms for small businesses to display products. Not done. Facilitate the establishment of a shoe factory using black belly sheep leather. Not done. Set up a process for the allocation of vending space across Barbados. Not done. Provide for the development of the condiment subsector by providing factories space to meet international standards. Not done. Facilitate an expanded export thrust for the condiment sector. Not done. Assist small businesses in meeting international standards. Not done. He is no use. He is no use. Representation is a serious undertaking. I take it seriously. I take it seriously. Because people's lives depend on me giving them the leadership that they need to succeed in their lives, to succeed in whatever endeavor I'm giving them leadership in. And because I take that seriously, I believe that a person must come to office with their heart set in the right place, with people at the center of their being. And that is the reason why I joined the Barbados Labour Party, because the Barbados Labour Party has at its center the people of Barbados. A manifesto is a contract for us. This is how we were trained. Our former leaders trained us that if you promise something, you must deliver it. I came into the Barbados Labour Party and heard Owen Arthur and heard Mia Motley say over and over and over again, do not go out and promise something that we cannot deliver. Do not make up policy on the fly. Do not tell people you can do something unless we have examined it to see if it is done. Because a promise must be kept. Because at the center of the Barbados Labour Party is love of Barbadians. So you can rest assured that when we come to office, everything we do, everything we say will be about you. And so I'm asking every Barbadian, I'm asking every person in St. James South, this next election is going to be about your future. It's going to be about your children. It's going to be about your retirement. It's going to be about your jobs. It's going to be about your health. And if those things matter to you, then I ask you, vote for the Barbados Labour Party. Vote for Mia Motley. Vote for Sandra Husbands in St. James South.